Welcome, everybody, to December 13th, Touch of Torah, with Congregation Va-Dor and our rabbi, our illustrious rabbi of our rational, inspirational Judaism, Rabbi Barry Silver. The parasha tonight is Genesis, Vayeishev, and I'm going to turn it over to Rabbi. This is an exciting parasha. Go right ahead, Rabbi.
Hey, thank you, Sharon. Your enthusiasm is contagious. Now I'm all excited about the passage too. Vayeishev is a good passage. It's about Joseph, who was a dreamer, and he symbolizes the fact that we Jews are dreamers. We dream big, and Joseph had the practical know-how and the ability to mature and to be able to make those dreams come true. And that's really what being Jewish is all about. His dad, Jacob, was also a dreamer. In this passage, it's very interesting because Joseph has a bigger than life personality. So it starts out, Vayeishev means he dwelt, and it's talking about where Jacob was residing at the time, Vayeishev. And it's related to the word yeshiva, to sit or to inhabit. So it's talking about Jacob. It says these are the chronicles of Jacob, and then instantly it shifts into Joseph. Instantly, and it says, and Joseph was 17, which is very interesting because it just shows how Joseph dominates the landscape. And then he becomes his father's favorite. Then his father does what apparently they do in the Bible quite a bit. They show dysfunctional parenting by favoring one over the other. Even God's guilty of that when he approves of the sacrifice that Abel gave, but Cain's he wasn't too keen on. And so even God sets a bad example by favoring one brother over the other, and that continues to happen throughout the Torah, especially in the book of Genesis. So here the father, Jacob, favors his son. He was born to him in his old age, to his wife that he loved dearly, more than the others. It was Rachel, and so he's very partial to Joseph. Joseph then has some dreams, and he's seen as rather bold and brash and braggadocio. But people have asked, well, how can you fault him for having dreams? He doesn't control what he dreams. So if he dreams that his brothers are sheaths of barley and he is too, and their sheaths are bowing down to him, or if he dreams that they're all stars in the heavens and the sun and the moon are his parents and they're all bowing down to him, he doesn't control that. Ancient people believe this was a message from on high or from the supernatural. So you can't fault him for that. But what you can fault him for is for bragging about the dream and just telling everybody about it without even a hint of modesty or a hint of embarrassment. Just bragging, this is what I dreamed. It gets him into trouble because the brothers get very jealous. And it's a good lesson for us to not be so braggadocio and to be modest. Otherwise, you can get into serious trouble. You won't necessarily suffer the same fate as being sold into slavery like Joseph, but it's not a really good idea. So Joseph, his name Yosef, means he shall increase. And it's interesting that Joseph's personality improves over time. So he starts out as a braggart, and he ends up the exact opposite. He ends up as a real mensch, showing Rahmanis to his brothers, but we'll get there later on. But the point is that Joseph, Yosef, grows in character and stature, and that's really what our goal is too. Wherever we are today, whatever level we're at, our goal should try to be a little better tomorrow than we are today. If we can improve each day, then there's no telling where we're going to end up. But if we stay the same, then we know exactly where we'll end up, right where we are now. So that's really a big lesson of the story of Joseph. In the story, he gets sold into slavery. They were going to kill him, but then Reuben says, no, we can't kill him. He's our brother. Let's sell him into slavery. We'll make some money. And then he thought that he might rescue him later. But then Judah actually suggests that he'd be sold for money, and then they get 20 pieces of silver. He's sold into slavery, and then he's with a very high-ranking official. He's at the house, and the wife comes on to him. Everybody's attracted to Joseph. They love him, and he rebuffs her, and she gets so angry that she accuses him of trying to assault her. So he's tossed into prison. In prison, he meets up with the cupbearer and the baker of the Pharaoh, and they're both put into prison. It gives the impression for false charges. So Joseph predicts what's going to happen to each one. And again, when he makes his prediction, there's no rachmanas, there's no compassion, there's no empathy. It's just, he just tells it like it is. The cupbearer, he says, good news. The cupbearer reveals the dream that he had, and Joseph interprets it and says, good news, your dream means you're going to be restored to your position, and you'll live happily ever after. The baker is cooked, because the baker explains his dream, and Joseph goes into vivid, graphic, grisly detail about his manner of death and the aftermath, which is too lurid for me to go into here. I don't know who might be listening, but if you want to dust off your Bible, you can see what happens to the baker in Joseph's dream. But as Joseph is telling him this, he doesn't say, hey, sorry about that, or I wish it was different, or gee, that's too bad. He just tells him outright like it's no big deal. Again, he totally lacks any feelings or compassion, which is completely different than he was at the end. Then the Torah says that the cupbearer is restored to his position, but he knows not Joseph. He doesn't tell the Pharaoh, hey, you should check this guy out. This guy's incredible. He predicted the dreams exactly. He doesn't say a word. But then eventually he gets released, and that's pretty much where it is at this portion of the sedra. Joseph is such a major figure that there's quite a few different parashas that are devoted to him. And that's what takes place in this part. He is a role model indeed, showing what we can accomplish if we mature and learn and improve every day. Sharon, did you want to show a movie?
Well, I wanted to ask a question, quick question. So I believe the brothers, they call them into the field or something, and they get them, and then they put them down a well or something?
Yeah, what happened was, well, first, it's been known throughout literature. He says, Ani mivakesh et achai. I seek my brothers. And that's interpreted metaphorically like he really wanted to be in good graces with his brothers. The brothers went off, and he was sent by his father to check up on them. And it says that he never says anything good about his brothers to his father, and vice versa. They just don't like each other. So yes, they get sent off, and then he's looking for them, and they see him before he sees them. So they said, hey, there's that dreamer. Let's throw him down that well, and then let's see what happens to his dreams. Let's see if those dreams materialize. So yeah, they throw him in the well, and then they're deciding what to do. But yeah, that's how it happened, right?
So they get him out of the well and sell him to slavery? Is that what happens later? Okay.
Yeah, scholars believe there's two traditions, because Reuben says, no, we can't kill him. He's our brother. That would be wrong. So then he says, let's put him in the well. And then he's intending to come back later and rescue him and save his life. And then it also says Judah tries to save his life too and says, no, we can't kill him. Let's sell him into slavery. So they think there's two different traditions, but they're not sure. But the slavery is sold to the Midianites and the Ishmaelites in the two different versions. That's another reason why they think it's two different versions. Historians say, well, they're kind of similar, Midianites, Ishmaelites. I guess they're all the same. So they then take his cloak of many colors and they dip it in lamb's blood. They kill a lamb, put it in the blood, then show it to the dad and said, "Oh, by the way, is this Joseph's coat?" Like they don't know. So he goes, "Oh no." And then he says that his gray hair will go down to Sheol, down to the underworld in mourning. So it's really very tragic. Yep. Anybody else? All right. Well, it's a great story. If you want to hear more, we'll be talking about this on Shabbat. Our first service at Grand Villa will be this Friday at 7:30. We're really excited about the location, about the people there. Seem to have a lot of friends there, so I hope everybody can join us in person or on internet. All right.
Anybody
Thanks so much, Sherry.
Anybody else have anything they want to share? Alan, Gloria, Peter?
I just want to mention one quick thing.
Yeah.
Barry, everybody, when I was listening to you, I just read a quote yesterday by Mahatma Gandhi, and he said, "Be the change you wish to see." I think it's "be the change you want to see in the world." And that kind of it's very, very similar to what you said about changing. Be the change you want to see in the world. When you take that viewpoint, it's just interesting to me that you said what you said, and I read that quote yesterday.
Yeah, it is an interesting coincidence. Yeah, you can't really change the world until you've changed yourself to reflect what you want the world to be. Then you can be a force for those qualities that you'd like to see in the world. Yeah, it's very, very profound. But this passage is saying something also that's quite extraordinary, is that people don't have to be the same. Many people say, "Oh, people never change." This passage refutes that. This passage says that's ridiculous. In fact, the word name Yosef means to increase and improve. So we Jews don't believe that people can't change. We believe in redemption and changing for the better, and because we have free will. That's the beauty of this passage. But the statement by Gandhi is also very profound. Yeah, thank you for adding that.